Hi, Nikhil.
Hi Vijetha, how are you?
All good, boss. All good, boss. Great. So I'm clear. I think you're very, very clear, very audible. Absolutely no problem.
Yeah,
All right, perfect. So good evening. Good evening, everyone. This is Vijetha here, episode 32 of League of Extraordinary Startups. So today we have a very interesting conversation with Nikhil. So Nikhil, I always say, like the spotlight is on the founder. So first, please introduce yourself, your startup, what you do, and your journey. Some bullet points to the
okay.
audience. Let's go for it.
So my name is Nikhil and I'm co-founder of SportsThat as you told. And I have over 10 plus years of experience. This is my second startup. My previous startup got acquired by Aspiring Minds. It got acquired in 2015 and that was a mobile gaming startup. So we used to develop games.
Okay.
And my co-founder in SportsThat is a big passionate Roger Federer fan. And we started back in 2019 and the startup is going through the best hiccups that we can go upon.
Okay, that's nice to know. That's really nice to know, Nikhil. So, gaming, sports, I think this is something that you care about. You're passionate about all these things.
Yes. So we in India, most if you talk to a kid, what he will say is, I want to be a Kohli for now.
Ah,
And when we were kids, we wanted to be Sachin Tendulkar.
Sachin Tendulkar.
Or
Correct,
like
correct.
I am from Najafgarh, so
Uh-huh.
Virender Sehwag, who was very close to me, my elder brother used to play with him. So I always see him as like my idol for being a cricketer. But
Awesome.
a typical middle Indian class family who wants their kid to do engineering and get into job. So that is how I got into engineering and but I was always passionate about sports. So what happened was in 2019 it was a time of recession when we actually passed out.
Okay.
So we got the job into web development there only. It was a short small company. And then what happened was I was getting a so in 2010 actually the mobile revolution started with iPhone 4. Apple
Okay.
launched iPhone 4 and a startup was started up. You might be knowing Sarthak Bakshi.
Yes,
He's
yes.
an
I have
investor.
the name.
So it
Uh-huh.
was a startup in 2010 who was hiring freshers for a gaming. So I
Okay.
left a higher paying job to start again as a fresher to go into gaming.
Wow.
So in
That's
2010, I started my career as a full-time mobile application developer. And
Hmm.
from there on, in 2014, after leaving the company as a team lead, we started the first company.
Okay. But Nikhil, whatever you say, you still need the technology background. You still 100% definitely need to you've worked in a big company.
Yes,
You understand processes and all that. So I think that's a message also, that though you wanted to be a founder,
yes,
you did a little bit of work and you understood, how systems work, how organizations work, and that makes a difference, doesn't it?
yes. So the first startup, we all three co-founders were from tech background. So we
Okay.
started as freshers in the same company in 2010, and
Hmm.
then we became co-founders and started first company after 5 years almost.
All right.
So we
Wow.
had typically everyone was a technical architect kind of
Hmm.
person. Everyone was into product. Everyone was a team lead, So it was easy for us to start a service company plus a product company.
All right. So I want to ask you this one question. See, you said that you have actually sold one startup, you found investors, etc. So how did that happen? Did it happen just like that? Was there a process? And I'm sure that the founders want to know about that.
Okay, so it has a different kind of story. So what happened was one company wanted to acquire us.
Hmm.
Not the company Aspiring Minds, but one company wanted to acquire us. So what happened was we were in previous company. If you might be knowing Sunil Goyal or Varun Khurana. So
Okay.
Varun
Yeah, yeah.
Khurana was co-founder of is currently co-founder of Crow Farm. So
Hmm.
Sunil Goyal is currently senior vice president into Paytm.
Okay.
So he was my CTO when we started up. So I called him up and said that Sunil, one company wants to acquire us, and since your company got acquired when I was part of their company, so tell us how it happens and how what are the terms, what are the things. So he said that, are you guys looking to get acquired? We said that we got one proposal and let's see how it goes. So he said that one of my friend, uh, his Himanshu Agarwal, co-founder of Aspiring Minds, they were the Delhi IIT batchmates. So he said that he is looking to acquire a mobile team who can handle the complete Aspiring Minds mobile products.
Okay.
So we knew all the engineering students would be knowing AMCAT. I'm damn sure because their exams, all the companies that hire most of the big fortune companies, they hire through MCAT. So then it was a very casual conversation where we decided to join Aspiring Minds team, and this is how the acquisition acquired. So it was not a typical acquisition since we were bootstrapped, so there was no investor involved. Even today in my startup, we are still bootstrapped, so we have not raised anything, but yes, we are in the process of raising.
Wow. So bootstrapped, when I asked you this question also, right? Bootstrapped in your second startup, but you're looking at funding. So now can we do one thing,
Yeah.
Nikhil? Do you have some slides that you wanted to very quickly kind of show to the audience?
Okay.
Just
So
talk about yourself, your startup, whatever. Very, very simple, very crisp. Let's not make it too long, but it's more about a conversation out here.
I'll share my screen.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can. You can start sharing full screen. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So can you
okay.
see the screen right now?
Yes, yes, yes. Perfect, perfect.
So primarily SportsThat is a sports fans app. So why do we call it a sports fans app? Because if you are a sports fan, right, you should be on the app, because what we are doing as a sport, we are also sports fans, passionate sports fans. So what we are doing is we are mapping every journey, every touch point of a sport fan, what exactly he wants, how he connects to his favorite players, teams, clubs, those kind of things. So we are mapping their journey, and then we are making sure that they are recognized. So what happens is, you might be knowing, so if we talk about Sachin Tendulkar, god of cricket, right? If I say who is the biggest fan of Sachin Tendulkar, everyone will say Sudhir Chaudhary. Why? Because he is the only one who used to attend the matches. But
Okay.
you might not be knowing more people who used to come also. Since he was always accompanying the team, you only know one player. But at least 50,000 in Mumbai see watch matches. They spend money on, they wear their t-shirts, they do all kind of stuff. But you don't know. Similar is the problem with brands and clubs. They do not. So what we are doing in SportsThat is we are recognizing those fans, and we are making sure that teams and clubs reward those fans, because it's also a challenge for them that they have, like, say 50 lakh fans on Facebook, likes. So what we are doing is we are mapping their uh, fan base, like whatever the fan does, we are making sure that that is on the app. They post their fandom, they post their merchandise, they post their moments, whatever letters they write to fans. So even my co-founder wrote a letter to Roger Federer and she got the reply. So there are similarly a lot of fans who actually do these kind of stuff. So we are mapping that completely in SportsThat. So if you anyhow connect to fan, even if you're a casual fan, you must come on SportsThat. And I'll show you like how, what exactly you can do in SportsThat. So primary, so this if you see this, this is how. So it's also a social platform, right, where you can post your stuff related to sports. And other than that, you get a lot of things like quizzes are there. You can connect to fans. You can become a top fan of a player, like for a Virat Kohli, say, if I say. So all the things are based on community. So all the players, all the teams, they are basically kind of community, and whatever you do for them, you get points for that. And based on them, for every fan, every player, every team, you have a different ranking based on your, like, what you are doing and what you are talking, what, how much likes you got, what response you got from other fans, those kind of things.
Okay, very interesting, yeah. And tell me something, but I mean, now, like with, okay, things have changed in the last 6 months, 9 months, but did you have a tough time initially to, after in the last 6 months, because a lot of slowdowns happened, physical distancing was to be maintained, etc., etc. So, how's been the journey for you as such, Nikhil?
So if we talk about sports, so the biggest challenge we faced was pandemic.
Hmm.
So every startup faced the pandemic as a challenge. But the thing happened was, so if we talk about sports, that our main aim was to connect the fans, right? I'm
Okay.
just stopping. So our main aim was to connect the fans in SportsThat.
Huh.
So how we built the SportsThat was basically connecting the fans inside and outside the stadiums.
Okay.
So we mapped every stadium, we mapped every stand in the stadium. People could do actually real check-in. So in Facebook, what you can do is you can check in from here that I am into Shimla,
Hmm.
right? But in our case, we geologically mapped each and every stadium and even stands in the stadium. So you can find that this particular fan is sitting in my stand.
Mm-hmm.
And we were waiting for March IPL 2020, and that is how we designed the whole platform. And pandemic happened, and it stopped. Now
Okay.
what? Our whole technology was on the back foot. Like
Mm-hmm.
now we cannot do anything because everything was revolved around that other than social. So
Mm-hmm.
what we did was we took a back step. We again decided to build the technology based on that. We, in fact, what we did in the pandemic starting was we completely rejected the technology and we again decided to build on another technology
Okay.
based on a few more things. And then we had to introduce features like quizzes and all. So finally, in the October, when IPL happened, we started to get response in IPL because sports actually started happening that time. So our app got like top trending apps, top trending sports apps in India. We got it twice. We got around 8,000, 10,000 downloads. So like almost 10,000 posts were created. So primarily we are from user generated. User creates the content, generates the content, they like, comment. So we got a lot of good feedback. Almost 10,000 posts were created on the app.
Mm-hmm.
And now the biggest challenge was that was not giving us money.
Okay.
And a year has passed. You have the technology team. You are spending 3 lakh per month on the tech team. Now at a certain point of time you have to take a decision. This I need to stop now, and now I need to like grow from here and start doing sales and each and everything.
Mm-hmm. Understood.
So then we decided that like we cannot continue with tech team full time.
Mm-hmm.
So so what we did was like 3 months ago we told them that now we cannot pay you full time, but I'll be in touch with you on a freelance basis. And I myself code, like on Android I do myself code, but staying with them now I know I can, if I need to solve a bug into server, I can go into PHP and at least change something.
Correct. Correct.
plus
Interesting.
plus there are more things, like since Sheetal is a non-tech founder.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided, so since we wanted to do sales, we built our e-commerce platform on OpenCart. A lot of people might be knowing OpenCart if they are from tech background. So now the OpenCart has another challenges. It's another technology in itself. Now
Okay.
as a tech co-founder, I have to take care of that too. So Android, iOS, and backend, OpenCart, plus then analytics, each and everything is on you if you are a only tech founder.
Correct. Correct.
So in the end, we learned a lot. Now we started getting sales. Like now we are confident that for at least in next 6 months we will be able to do 18-20 lakh into sales in next six
Wow.
months.
So how does sales happen for you guys? How what is the effort that you put in? What is the planning? Because sales is important for founders.
Right.
How do you go about it?
So the first thing was to build the technology, like people can come and actually do shop through us. But it is not needed if we are reaching the right people. So since we are building the community, it was easy for us to reach fans.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is influencers. So
Mm-hmm.
if I know that I am selling something related to say Dhoni, a
Okay.
Dhoni fan might like something. So we are doing a lot of channels. We are doing SEO. We are doing
Mm-hmm.
blogging, and we are going to influencers on different social media platforms like Instagram is helping us. So we need to reach them, and then the fans come themselves. So that is how we did our campaigns during IPL also.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So
So
okay.
we
Now
reach to influencers that if you are a biggest fan of Virat Kohli, come on the platform and the best post will get a T-shirt, a
okay.
fan T-shirt,
Okay.
a cricket T-shirt.
Uh-huh. So incentives. You obviously gave a lot of incentives to the
Yes,
influencers also.
yeah,
And is it been easy or has it been difficult in terms of sales? Because I mean, why I'm asking this question again and again is because sales is something that sometimes the co-founders or founders don't pay enough attention to. Innovation is good, product is good. Without that, it's a given. You can't do anything. But
right.
how does sales, good or bad, affect a company in the long run when especially when it's bootstrapped is so difficult?
Yes, it's
So
so one challenge what we are facing right now is, so basically our we want to do sales earliest and in minimum cost.
hmm,
So we got it into open cart, right?
okay, okay.
Now open cart application is like 5 times more difficult than actually doing it on web.
All
So
right.
now OpenCart Web is there. We don't have an app on e-commerce. Now our community works separately and sales work separately.
Okay.
So it's like two startups we are running together.
All
One
right.
is for doing sales and one is for doing community.
Community, awesome, awesome. But I think Nikhil, you'll agree with me that a lot of communities that have been built over the long term have actually resulted in great brands, great value, and
Right.
and lot of commercialization also has happened. So when you build community, what are the
Mhm.
do's and don'ts that you keep in mind? Because you should be very cautious that it doesn't spill over into being a marketing gimmick rather than community, like true community building. So what are the rules of the game that you adopted or utilized for community building?
So, so like when the initially community was like when initially started, we started with 100 to 100 people who
Hmm,
were actually into close network. So
hmm,
that is how we beta tested our product. So since Sheetal is a fan, I am a fan.
hmm,
So
hmm,
we connected to our relatives, friends, our fans into like she goes a lot to see watch matches. So she's also part of few communities like Roger Federer one, tennis one.
hmm,
I'm also fan of groups. So what we did was initially did beta testing with those people only,
hmm, hmm.
and when they actually approved the product that this is the missing part, this is the missing part, and then we got to know that now our community needs to be under this only, and people do not make it. Now we have almost 100 to 100 friends on the community itself.
Hmm,
So if
hmm.
any person posts a wrong thing, they say us that this person is posting wrong thing.
Okay.
For now it is easy, but in the end later on we know we have to do it via machine learning or something where we'll be capture taking the images, and we should not post anything which is against the guidelines, GDPR guidelines and all those things.
Mhm.
So plus a person do not post different kind of videos, so that thing is already in process, like we are handling it from the back end too.
Okay. Understood. Yeah. This is like really, it's not easy, isn't it? But any regrets? I don't think so. But still, what if you had continued with a corporate career, Nikhil? How would it have been? What do
Sorry,
you think? If you had continued with corporate career or whatever it is, so I what do you think would have been different?
if sorry I did not get it.
If you had continued working for large companies or for a
Yeah,
corporate, what could have been different in your life?
what would have been different in, I would be traveling more, that's it. So when I joined like when we sold our first startup, so
Huh.
the aim was now we had actually contract in the company that we have
Okay.
to stay for this particular time
Oh, okay.
in the
Okay.
company. So
Uh-huh.
that is how the acquisition got happened. They have different terms and all those things
Hmm.
because we were acqui-hired rather than, so team was upon us. We were heading the mobile, and in the end, I started working on actually AMCAT product.
Hmm.
So so now those 3 years, I know that I'm not going anywhere. Like I cannot do anything else. So what you will do? So I recently got married that time only. In my first startup only I got married. And
Oh.
after that, of course, in startup you cannot travel anywhere. Now I know that these are the 3 years I need to settle down with my family. I
Huh.
travel as much as can. After that, if I think to do startup, I'll think later on. Now it's been 2 years. The first time I went to outside was basically this weekend, where
Huh.
actually my car got crashed and I could not
Yeah.
come back. So
Understood.
it's been almost 2 years I have traveled.
Huh.
9 months, 8, 9 months, of course, because of pandemic thing. But like this thing happens. So if I would have been corporate, so the only major challenge was I would be traveling more, and now I know that if you're in a startup you have to take care of your family too. You have limited budget, you have to have tech team, so those kind of things. Plus just learning, in terms of learning I can say, if would have been in corporate I won't be learning this much.
Hmm.
Now I am working, like I am understanding 4 or 5 different technologies, handling the product. So before that I was designing my product on a separate tool. Now I completely design the product on a different tool itself.
Okay.
So one of my UX designer told me that now you are in a full-time startup, you cannot hire a full-time UX developer for yourself. You better do become one. So I
Yeah.
started working on experience design. It took 20-25 odd days to
Huh.
learn that, and now I know how. So complete. If you see the SportsThat app, it's completely designed by myself.
Okay. Interesting. So a nice journey and nice story that you're saying, Nikhil. And say, what do you see as potential challenges that could come up or could crop up in the next six
Sorry.
months? What are the potential challenges that you see that could come up? And what are you doing to kind of make sure that you guys don't get into trouble? Anything could happen, right? I mean, I know you're bootstrapped, and hopefully this, vaccines are coming out. People are willing to,
Yes, we
whatever.
are
Probably,
hoping
yeah,
the
changes
sports
are.
will start again in India,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah. but there could be other challenges also coming up. So what do you foresee, and how what do you and your co-founder Sheetal, what do you talk about?
So primary challenge was of course the funds.
Okay.
So if the sales goes down, like we need to sustain the family financially, and with the limited scope, like now we know that we have built the platform only this much.
Hmm.
Now if we need to build the platform more, bring more things, now we need money. So primary challenge is financials. So,
Okay.
and if since we are in market for long, and other players can also come. Few have come who actually were into fantasy, and now they are moving into fan engagement. So
Okay.
it's like adding a competitor. We know that, but we are helpless. Like this is happens when actually you are bootstrapped and you are funded. This is the major difference. You cannot go with that pace. So now I know that the work that I can finish in 4 months, I need 1 year to finish if I keep on bootstrap. If I get funded, I'll finish that work in 4 months with my team.
Hmm.
So this is the major challenge, that in next 1 year there might be more startup which would be jumping into same sector, seeing our app. Few have happened already, which were actually big players. We were not expecting them that they would actually start doing it, but in the end they did by looking at the concept and each other. Of course, if you are open in the market, you are like an open book.
Hmm.
Everybody can use your app, see what they are doing, and those kind of things.
TK, got it. Interesting, yeah. But I think what you should be doing, I'm sure, and you'll discuss it. That this is your second startup. You're bootstrapped. You're looking to raise funds. You want to travel. So there's a lot of ambition that you have in your head, which I'm sure God's grace you will succeed also.
Thanks.
Okay, great. So I want to tell you one thing, right? So 10 years of startups. Who are your mentors, coaches? Who do you
Okay.
use as a sounding board, and how do you go about it? Is there a structure of discussions, and
Right.
when do you go to them? Nikhil, I think that's something that founders should understand it, and someone like you can throw some light on that.
Yeah. So one of our I think when I started, before starting my first startup, I used to be a part of Robin Hood. You know Alok
Okay,
Kejriwal.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, of course.
Alok Kejriwal. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
used to attend his meetings in Delhi. I have been into Mumbai. I have met Alok 5 6 times. So I used to follow him a lot. I read his book. So when I was actually finishing up his book, I resigned for my second startup. That now I'm done with my corporate. I need to jump in.
Mhm.
So I follow him a lot. Whenever I feel like I need to talk to him, I talk to him. He's not my full-time mentor, but of course I see him as my coach. Like whatever he writes, so I take ideas. Sometimes I call to him, like every 4 month, 5 month, I had a discussion with him. Srinath is like director in a Pune based pharmaceutical company, and like you might be knowing him. So he is our full-time mentor. So we have calls with him, like every fortnight or monthly. Like he sees that what you are going to do. If you are out of funds, what will you do? So he said that this is a dark room now. You have to take a decision. Either do this or jump out and go into corporate life. So we have got the suggestions even to that level, that if you think that it will take another 1 year to start doing sales and all those things, you should move on with another things. So we have got, like, Srinath is a very good mentor to us. He keeps on monitoring things like what we are doing, how we are doing, and all those things. Plus, we have been part of different incubators. So Srinath was, so Supreme Incubator is the one, and we were initially, when we started up, we got it from Ham Udaipur, and so we have been part of multiple, and we keep on taking sessions and all those things.
Hmm.
But Srinath, we met Srinath in Supreme Incubator, and for past like almost 8 months, 9 months, 1 year, he is helping us out in figuring out what we need to do in next. So he
Okay.
says that set up the goals. If you reach to this level, then good. If you don't reach, analyze what you are doing wrong, and he says that if we are not able to reach this, it's time to do quit. So
So very tough love and tough advice, huh? That do
yeah,
the
but
right
of course, this is what which is helping us to keep keep moving,
Yeah.
because being practically, we know that we have a family, we have to sustain, we have
Yes,
expenses
yes,
staying in
yes.
Delhi.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Of course.
I'm father of two kids, so
Ah,
they have their own expenses.
correct, correct.
So,
So,
so in the end, somewhere and or other, you need to take a decision that whether I'll want to do it. I know that if sales would have had started up, I'll have to take a decision to move into corporate, and she where I'll be doing full time, and Sheetal will be running the startup full time. So
okay,
even we have decided that too, that in 2021, if things do not, so we'll see 1 to 3 months this financial year. If things don't go well, I will join the corporate again.
okay,
But
okay.
hopefully things are doing
Yeah,
good, and
yeah.
like we started getting
Fingers,
sales.
good, good. Fingers crossed for you.
Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah. And Nikhil, Nikhil, one more thing. I mean, you did talk about technology tools, but one thing
right.
that I would like to understand from you is productivity tools. As a founder, as a mentor, how do you make sure that your day is well planned, whether it's sales or product or teamwork or whatever you need to do, community building? How do you plan your day? How do you build the community tools within your activities? How do you
So
use productivity?
if we talk about like, I'm not seriously telling, I'm not planning my day for initially. Before like a few months back, I started that I'll plan my day. I will do this. I will do this, and this was be my goal. But what happens in startup is you don't know what random thing comes. Suppose an urgent bug comes in, and you get the thing that this is a bug you need to solve now,
Yeah, yeah.
because I was into tech. So in the end, your whole day goes into that bug. Now whole planning that you did, it's completely like out now. So I try to do that. This is thing I need to do. I decide that in morning that this will I will be finishing. But most of the times I am not able to complete that because of the things
Hmm.
and unplanned things. In
Okay.
startup, I'm not, you cannot plan each and everything
Yeah.
unless and until you have a team. Now the team is, so when we were actually doing full time with the developers,
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
what happens was everyone was remote,
Hmm.
right? And there were people who were sitting into Bihar, like my developers were sitting into Bihar. Now they said that I have one hour of battery left in my laptop, and the whole connection into village is gone, electricity, and we
Oh
are not sure whether it will come for 2 days or 3 days. Now what will you do? I said just commit the code. I'll see myself.
my
That
God.
is how.
Yeah, that I understand. Don't I understand that? Yeah, it's a tough world, isn't it? Especially when all these interdependencies of connectivity, networks, people are working remotely. Awesome.
Yes, we are working remotely. So we left the in March only, and now we have. I think I went to office just two times just to take meetings with the investor. That's it.
Oh, okay, okay.
And we need to be together to for
Understood.
the same.
Understood.
Otherwise, we are working from our home.
Correct. And also, Nikhil, they say that it's not just about a founder. I mean, as you said, you have a family, you have your wife, you
Yeah,
have your children, your parents are there, your wife's parents are there. There are so many, lot of the ecosystem is consisting of many things.
right.
So, is there any, and as a founder, there might be some pressures on you, correct? So, how do you
Pressure.
handle? I mean, how do you handle stress? How do you handle these kind of pushes and pulls in life? Not too many people talk about it. I know we keep talking only about the glamour sometimes of startups, but there is also a lot of the human aspects of it also. So, what do you think about that, and what can you share with the audience out here?
So like if we talk about stress and all things, of course everyone is stressed. Like what will happen? So I keep on talking to my father. He says that if it's working, then it's fine. If it's not working, move to corporate. Why to worry about that?
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
Of course, dream is shattered, and of course you are not leaving the company. He says
Okay.
that you are not leaving the company. The
Hmm.
company will go on.
Yeah.
Join the corporate, hire more people, and keep continue going on.
Okay.
My in-laws are supportive. They know that, like, if because when I actually got married, I was in my first startup. So
Correct.
when they actually came to my father, so at that time also we were earning meager. In
Hmm,
startup, you don't earn anything.
hmm.
So when my father-in-law came, my father told that, like, I can give them food and everything. Rest he is yours. He'll handle everything.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
so they know that that was the time I was into startup. My wife is also a techie. She
Huh,
was an iOS developer. So
huh,
she joined my first startup as a developer only.
huh,
Then after the company got acquired, we had 3 year contract, and she was with the same in the same company. So
huh.
we used to go together and do each and everything. We were always together. So they never had a problem. They go together, they come together, and so everything was fine. But now she left the job some time ago when I actually started doing the second startup 6 months
Hmm,
after. she left the job. Now she's not doing job, so I'm completely fine. Plus now, like my second child actually have born just before the pandemic
Hmm.
in March. So in
Okay.
March 3 to 14, I was into hospital, and in 20, on 1920, and lockdown happened.
Arre
So
baap
now, like they are contented that at least a smaller kid got a complete like
attention
care
from
from the
yeah.
family.
So
So
there is
that
always
is
a bright side.
the,
There's always a
the
bright
family
side.
is your biggest strength actually.
Yeah, it is your
So
biggest
people
strength.
do not realize it, but I realize that family is the biggest strength because you go talk to them, you leave everything, you turn down your laptop. That leave that I'll not be doing. So what I say, my co-founder is very supportive.
Okay,
So
fantastic.
when she knows that I am frustrated, I have been into, so she says that close your laptop on your weekend, don't open it on the weekend and go. But when I know that now I am okay, I open my laptop and again start doing job. So this we need to be cooperative.
Yeah, you have to be. And
Yes.
there's no start, there is no finish, isn't it?
Yes. So
You
we know
just
we don't know that this might happen in 1 day, 2 day, 3 days. It's a long journey. You might not be able to achieve like we thought that we might be reaching to this after 1 year.
uh,
And pandemic happened and 8 months were gone, like
hmm,
in a flash.
hmm,
Actually it went in a flash. Although we worked more than what we actually used to do in office.
hmm, hmm.
So in office, we know in corporate we know that we have to leave off. We leave home at 9,
Hmm.
and we'll reach office at 10. We'll leave office at 6:30. We'll be
Correct,
home by 7:30.
correct.
But
Awesome.
in startup, you don't like
Yeah,
startup and also at home you don't have time. So as you soon you open your eyes, you open your laptop and start working. They're like wife brings the breakfast only there. You keep on doing all those things, and until late there's no time to sleep and each and everything.
yeah, it is
Those
just
kind
work.
of things.
Yeah, and work is important. Yeah, they say like, that's important. Great, Nikhil. Nikhil, couple of other, I mean, crisp questions that I would like to ask you.
Mhm.
Okay. You already, obviously, you speak to a lot of investors. You're already, you've been acquired by one first startup has been acquired. So, what are the conversations and pointers that investors are asking you these days? In general, I mean, you may not want to give the confidential information, but if the founders who are listening in want to kind of understand, like, what is the mindset, thought process, what kind of questions or inputs that the investors are asking, and how do you prepare for it?
Okay. So so if we talk about investors, so first thing they want to see is team.
Hmm.
So what kind of team you have?
Okay.
Like can you do it or not? Plus what like and what's the traction and
Hmm.
how much effort you have put in yourself.
Okay.
So they see that if you are not putting that much effort yourself, you have not got the traction. So they are a bit hesitant into investing and all those things.
Hmm.
Of course the experience matters. So their people are like they want to jump into startup from their college days. Luckily IIT guys do get it from the seniors because they know they have very good environment in their campuses. But tier 2 tier 3 college students, they don't get the environment. So they have the dream to do something, but like the investors grill you through that in the conversation in the end.
Hmm.
That what because you need to study the competitors, because you are the one, you don't study your competitors, but the investors are one who actually get hundreds of pitches daily.
Hmm.
So you might not be knowing the company who which started 6 months ago, but they might be knowing because that came for the. So you are busy in your work and you are not studying the market always. So what happens actually? What you can say mistake, but it's a general nature. So when we actually we have created our pitches
Hmm.
now for past 4 months, 5 months, what happened into the market, we are not actually studying it because we don't get time. We are actually focusing on our own startup. And if the
Okay.
new company comes
Hmm.
and it's not that popular, you will not never get to know that. But
Okay.
investors know that
Okay.
this company has come into your space.
Okay.
So in the end, when you actually go to them, you show them the competitor slide. He said that, do you know this company? No, they are into same space. No,
Hmm.
that might be a startup, that might be a company, 6 months old company for them, but it will be new for you. Then it's a negative point, but in the end, you cannot do anything of that. Companies do come, so those kind of things.
Yeah. And also, I guess, founders and companies are so intertwined. The brand, personal brand, or the company brand is very, very close to each other, isn't it, today?
Yeah.
Interesting, interesting. Nikhil, the other question that I want to ask you is that, like, do you choose your investors whom to, what kind of research work do you do? How do you know which is the investor? And, 3, 4 pointers if you can give. Looking at industry, looking at size, how do you go about, approaching investors, or do they approach you? How does it work for you guys?
So, like my approach in terms of investor has been always like contradictory with my founder too. So what I initially from starting to till now,
Hmm.
my demand is always the same.
Hmm.
She said that we can take less amount of money from an investor and
Hmm.
we can continue for that. But
Okay.
said that if I don't ask for a 2 year from an investor, then in that case, after 8 months, 9 months, I'll have to again go to investors. That I do not want to do. Of
Hmm.
course my investor will not. So this is another thing that I know, that this is the amount. So being into tech for 10 years, I know that if I need to build this technology, I need this many number of developers, this many things. These actually cost actually this in the market.
Hmm. Hmm.
So in the end, you have the budget. So if you go to smaller investors who actually fund from say below 1 crore, you know that with the full capacity, either you hire a full capacity team, your money will be depleted in 8 months, 7 8 months.
Hmm.
So of course they will not fund you, right? And if you actually don't go with the full time team, then again you are again pushing your startup for 6 months back if you are hiring the half team. So I have not encountered a lot with the investors because the ask is a bit much more
Hmm.
based on my vision. That if I take at least I work for 2 years without any pressure tension. If I again start working for investors, searching for investors in next 8 months, then it's not neither it's good for company and neither it's good for the investor itself. So this is the one reason I think we have not got investment, because see
Okay.
that the ask is more, and we can actually start if we instead of taking 2 years, if we like want to continue, we can take the money for 1 year. So we also got this thing from the investor itself. So we one called with Sequoia, so they are one of the biggest one. So they
Okay.
told that since again they see the traction too, so
Hmm.
that traction is not that big for that much amount, but you can try for angel investors instead of going actually to VC,
Yeah.
because the amount you are asking will be done by a VC rather than an angel investor.
Hmm. Hmm.
So in the end, you'll have to. That is another thing. That is your vision. So since we are completely tech platform, right? So our vision is to replace the Instagram of for sports. So we want that every player. So we have built the platform in a way that all players and teams club will in the end come to our platform like they use Instagram or Facebook, where we will be helping them analyzing their true potential fans. So this is the vision. Now we know that it's not that popular. So team players, of course, we cannot bring Virat Kohli on board. So
Okay.
we decided to start with the smaller players. So we hired like cricket team. We are approaching new talent who are actually less popular. Then again we started approaching to Yogeshwar, the Babita Fogart, who are actually more popular.
Hmm.
So now we have started that. So that depends. So if we talk about investors, so first you'll have to see how much money actually you need, and the you want when you actually getting money from investors is again, people say that it's again a burden on you, because
Okay.
now you are again into corporate life where there is someone checking on you. It's like a corporate life, being
Okay.
into bringing an investor.
Okay.
So, but if we are bringing an investor, we should at least be tension free for 2 years,
Hmm. Hmm.
where I actually will be focusing only on the company, nothing else. If I again start doing after 6 8 months, I again start approaching investors. That is, so it depends from company to company. There might be companies who are less involved into technology. They might need less amount of money. So better to approach those kind of investors who invest in those that amount. So amount matters in terms of investors. Of course, sector does. Sector is one of the thing. Like in our sector is sports,
Hmm.
and if you talk about sports, most of the sports startup are actually invested by players only.
Okay.
In India, they are Yuvraj Singh has invested,
Hmm. Hmm.
Virender Sehwag, MS Dhoni, Kohli.
Hmm.
So all the big companies that you hear now, Dream 11, MPL, right, all are invested by players only.
Correct.
And if so plus now what happens is if we want to reach to the those players and all, again, like I what we did was we decided to approach those players for funding,
Okay.
right?
Hmm.
So what happened was they said that we cannot fund because you will not be able to pay that amount or that kind of thing.
Hmm.
And so but we can take that person for
Hmm.
1 day and do a video shoot.
Okay. Interesting.
So and that amount is actually massive.
Yeah,
So
that's
50
huge.
lakhs for 1 day for a big player.
Yeah.
And if I had 50 lakh, I'd be investing in startup rather than getting a video for.
Interesting, man. Interesting. Very interesting. Hey, hi Jagat. How are you doing?
Hi,
And
Vijetha. Hello,
So
Nikhil.
Nikhil, this is Jagat. He is the co-founder of the Vidphone, the platform that we are using and using it pretty
okay.
well. Okay, so I just thought, he's also, of course, he's raised a little bit of funding and he's been doing this thing for quite some time. So Jagat, some notes that you want to exchange with Nikhil?
No, I think one thing I heard Nikhil say that he had his second kid in
Yeah,
March,
yeah.
right? I think you had your second kid in March, you said.
Sorry,
Corona. You had your second kid in March, I think you were saying.
you are
No, he had his second child. His baby is 9 months old.
Right. So
yeah.
even I had my child in March. So same pitch.
But which date?
It's 30th of March. What about
Okay.
yours?
Mine is 3rd March.
3rd March. Okay, nice.
So
Very nice.
it would be complete lockdown during that time, and I could
Oh, yes.
understand what kind of challenges you might have faced.
Luckily, actually, it was not as bad as I thought. It was okay. So, apart from the fact that I was the only guy at the hospital, it was okay.
Okay.
So really interesting, Nikhil. Nice platform you have here, and I think Vijetha probably just lost power. I'm not
Yeah, I
sure.
have lost power. I lost power. But I'm on audio.
Got it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
but I lost power. I'm
Really
totally.
interesting. I'm really nice that you're doing something in sports. Yeah. I myself played cricket for Karnataka. Uh, Robin Uthappa, Stuart Bill, we were teammates back then. So really nice to see, how things are going. What are the plans? I mean, what are your plans for the next 3 months, 6 months, Nikhil,
My plan.
for the business? For
We are
SportsThat?
expecting another IPL in India in next 3 months.
Sorry, what is that?
We are expecting another IPL in India.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah,
so so India's biggest festival is actually IPL. So what
no doubt
growth
about
we actually saw during October, we know that we'll be doing 5 times, 10 times growth because now we are doing also sales. So our budgets were
it. Yeah,
limited. The challenges we faced that time, now we know that we won't be facing those challenges. So you might not be knowing what might come to you. So what happened was before IPL, I tell what kind of things happen during marketing. So before IPL, we were deciding that we want to see how much fans respond to different fan pages, right?
hmm,
Before IPL, everything was going fine. So we listed down 50 influencers who actually could help us in bringing more audience.
yeah,
And what actually happened was, say Dream 11 or BCCI, they restricted lot of people from them for actually posting on Instagram.
yeah.
So even we got,
Mhm.
so even what happened was we so they said that you cannot use word IPL. So in one of our tweet we said that if you are a fan, play during IPL. If you are a fan, play a contest on our app and win prizes. That was the only tweet we did. So only where we have written during IPL 2020. So we
Right.
got a legal notice from the
My goodness.
BCCI itself.
For the word, using the word IPL.
Yes, you cannot use IPL. So our
Then
intention
how
was
do
to
we
bring
say?
the fans, and
We should ask.
even we were not earning anything. We are not a fantasy app,
Yeah.
so we got a
No, and
legal.
you're not even doing. Not even doing a kind of IPL based, card game or something like that, right? I mean, yours
So
is
we are not a fantasy.
just this
We are.
IPL.
So we got a
Just the
legal
fact
notice.
that
We got a legal notice from them, like BCCI, that you cannot use IPL. You are using this. So actually, we were not actually earning anything. It was just a
yeah,
commodity. In the end, what then we realized that we are not the only one who are actually hampered, but all the
right.
companies, even MPL, even Fantasy 11, even the Dadas one. So what they were doing was in match they were saying Kolkata versus Delhi. So they were not saying Mumbai Indians versus Kolkata Knight Riders, but they were doing Delhi versus Mumbai. We said that if they are the big funded startups and they cannot do anything, of course we are like a bootstrapped company, and what's our value in for them? So like then we stopped using IPL itself. But what backfired was they started blocking accounts of fan pages who actually promote. So what they do
Yeah.
is they take some amount, 100 to 100 rupees for doing posts for you. So what happened was out of 50 we chose, which ranged from 10,000 fans to like a million fans,
Hmm.
right? Those were the fan pages. So one was Rohit Sharma, one was Virat Kohli. So how would you bring fans? You said that the top Virat Kohli fan will get this, right? This was the easiest way. So out of those 50, only four could actually do it for us. Only four. So our almost 90% campaign which we planned for IPL actually got it. And you won't believe what actually happened was we were doing a promotional ad where if you are a cricket fan, come on the app. We are not saying IPL, we are not saying anything team name, we are saying cricket fan. Even that Facebook was not approving.
Wow.
The cricket is
That's
not copyrighted.
no. Then what do you call it? What do we call it? If you don't call it IPL, what will you call it? Right? I mean, you should ask BCCI or you give us another name that we.
They said that you cannot use it for earning money. You can use it for information services. Give information to fans, give scores, do each and everything. You cannot earn out
Hmm.
of that. If you want to earn, give us ads. ठीक है, that is completely acceptable. That of course this is for branding and all those things. In the end, what happened was we saw that MPL companies like MPL and big companies who were fantasy apps, they started writing Indian T20 league. Now Indian T20 league is not in India. There is only one Indian T20 cricket league. So we
Yeah.
also started using that. Nothing happened. So
Yeah.
it was but cricket was not copyrighted. So they stopped sending ads. Ads were rejected by Facebook. You cannot even write cricket fan and write contest because actually that time fantasy apps platform are on the peak, right? And they are doing bombarding with ads and all things. And actually we are not fantasy platform. So even we
Right.
got requests from investors that will you make a fantasy platform? We completely rejected because almost I can name 20 apps which are into fantasy. Plus, our being a fan, it's ourselves. We feel that fans are more connected emotionally. The
True.
people who are actually playing fantasy are not fans. They are for money only. They are not true
Yeah.
fans.
You would say both. I think my sister, for example, she's a big fan of RCB. We're all Bangaloreans.
Mhm.
So she's a big fan of RCB and she plays this Dream 11.
Mhm.
And she does it. She's a big fan also, and she also does it. But I
Huh.
agree with you. I think
But
it's more the earning part.
I also played Dream 11, but that was for fun. That was not for earning money. So what we did was we campaigned like if you're a top fan of Kohli, come on the platform and showcase your fandom, right? And we distributed small gifts, T-shirts, and those kind of things, and it actually worked. And the fans level, the engagement we got was awesome. We got fans like who had actually posted videos of their body painted into tricolor flag and actually into stadium. They posted their previous pics because that was not going live. Nothing was happening live. But they posted their previous photos.
Yeah.
Now, if someone asks who is the top fan of Virat Kohli, and you actually go on the app and you see the video, he is the same person who actually posts of those kind of videos.
True.
So
I mean, that's very interesting.
it again comes as a proof of concept that if actually someone comes on Kohli community and sees that who is the top fan and actually sees the video, he'll be able to say that he does crazy kind of things. He has body tattoos, these kind of things.
Yeah.
Oh, like I out of 500 people, you won't be knowing a single person who will be painting their body into tricolor and Virat will be written. You would not be
Yeah.
knowing, right? But now I know because of my app.
That's nice. And Virat also must know probably. Kohli, if he
Up-
comes to know it,
up- that is the bigger challenge that Virat might not be knowing him.
no. So now, if he comes to know through your app, I think
Yes,
you will
if
be
he
in the
comes
good.
to our app, he'll get to know that these are my. Even in case of MS Dhoni, Rohit Sharma, all the communities, the numbers that we say that these are top fans, these are actually very passionate fans.
Yeah. No, I'm sure it's a religion. Yeah. I mean, I think you remember the guy who'd play, who'd go for all the matches. the guy for Sachin Tendulkar. He would be painted. I forgot his name.
I named him Sudhir Chaudhary. If we had a
Mhm.
discussion with Vijetha, so I told him the first thing that if we talks of Sachin as like god of cricket, and if we talk about his fan, the only person that will came into mind will be Sudhir Chaudhary. Where
True.
are the other fans? 50,000 fans watch match, right? In one day. Where are the other fans?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
there might be people who are actually seeing the matches regularly, right? And these are the fans who actually spend, right? These are the center of economy of sports. Otherwise, if they would not be purchasing tickets, they won't be purchasing merchandise, those kind of things. So actually, we are working on sports that we are working on analyzing those every journey. So we built the platform around mapping the stadiums, geolocation, and actually entering into stadiums and doing the real check-ins. So
Correct.
that so if there might be cases where I am booking the ticket from Book My Show, and my cousin would be going to see the match. But in case of real check-in, that fan actually who wanted to see match actually went to see match.
And
Yeah.
it could be anything, right? This could be kabaddi, this could be tennis, it could be
So,
hockey.
so we are so also one more thing that we are a multi-sport app.
Yeah.
We are not restricted to cricket. When we talk in India, we only talk of cricket. But actually, we have seen more response into kabaddi and WWE. You might be knowing, not knowing,
Yeah,
but in
yeah,
I
India,
think all the
WWE is
sport.
as much famous as cricket is.
yeah.
Yeah, more than the cricket, I think.
Yes,
Correct,
and
correct.
kabaddi is like
People call it a sport.
so now
WWE.
so even like what happened recently was now we have started onboarding the different academies, leagues, championship. So we recently came in contact with United Boxing League. It's basically a championship, United Premier Boxing. So we tied up with them. We created that. Now you start engaging, and you would be surprised that the one championship that happens in US outside, it has 1 crore viewers from India.
Wow.
How many boxing fans you actually know? You know, I don't know.
I mean,
There would
I
be
am a
one or
big
two,
fan of boxing,
but
but
they
I,
have
I don't
but they have
more
10
than
million viewership from India only on Hotstar for one championship.
huge.
10 million.
10 million.
One
And
with
then
10,
probably
10 million
Vijender.
fans.
Wow.
So
Vijender.
that fan base is actually lost, right?
No, Nikhil, I got something, like I was actually thinking about this. And in fact, back in 2011-12, you won't believe that,
Mhm.
I probably pushed out a, app called MPL. It's still on the Play Store. Of course, we have unpublished it now. It was called the Mobile Premier League back in 2012, way before this MPL. And it was a trump card game, like it was cricket trump cards. And it was really interesting to build that out. Of course, we never built it very seriously. It was just one of the interns kind of took it up and built it out. But look, I think being a sports person myself, right? I play cricket. I'm also a golfer. Um, I think one of the things you need to look at is like, yes, as I said, as you said also, cricket is kind of overdone, though it is the number one thing, right? I think we need, like, for example, I know my brother, for example, is a big fan of football, like this whole ISL, right? Really big. He goes to all the stadium matches. He's like, almost like Chelsea kind of fan. Similarly, you have with F1, I think there was a big fan following with F1. Kabaddi, that Pro Kabaddi League really made it big. It was huge.
Yeah,
I think these could also be very interesting, areas where there's not so much of intense competition, and BCCI won't be after you. I think so. But one of the couple of things that we should do, I think we should connect sometime. I think one is get the fans to engage. Right?
right.
It could be conversations around topics. It would be really big, right? So I would say just have kind of video rooms where you're talking about the different series and stuff that's happening. And it's just a place where cricket fans come and they talk about cricket. That would really bring a lot of engagement to your app, irrespective of whether matches are happening or not. Right, the fan following still continues. Like
Right.
if I like Ferrari, 5 years back, I still like Ferrari. Right? It doesn't matter. So I mean, I'm talking about F1. So these areas, I think, if you look at, there could be some very interesting avenues there. And I think still there are huge gaps. No one's really doing it in India. Like for example, like let's say today we have a test, and India Australia. We need to have a place where fans of Indian cricket team can go and chat, right? And then talk about, hey, this guy should have been selected, that guy should have been selected. Usko, ye over dena tha. Just general conversations with fans. It's
So
going to have a lot of impact.
so what we did was recently in IPL was we have a feature of live chat. So we
Mhm.
as a fan like had a urge to talk to people during watching the match. We got to know that this is required. People actually chat. So previous to sports that we used to do it on WhatsApp into our own group where there are 15 cricket fans. We have named it Sports at Cricket. So we discuss sports and during watch we are like being Delhiites and we are doing why the over is given to him, like you are saying. So what we did
Correct.
was during this I before IPL, we created a feature of live chat in the app itself. So during when the match is live, so we built a platform around when actually people could go and check it into stadiums. But now we have built the feature of live chat. So the
Yeah.
best response we got was on live chat. That during the whole
What
match that was going on, all the fans were chatting on the same platform.
That's what I'm saying.
Even
Nikhil,
for
lot of
every four, every six, every wicket, they are
yeah.
cheering.
See, a lot of places have text chat, and you wouldn't. It's not uncommon. Like even my own, like my WhatsApp group, 4 or 5 of my family groups. When there are matches, there's like running commentary going on, right? So
Right.
text chat is not the differentiator. I think when you look at it, and it could be, if you've heard of a app called, Airtime, right? So Airtime's by Sean Parker and Sean Fanning, who started Napster. And if you look at Airtime, it's like social watching, something like your Facebook watch party, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
But that's one thing where you're watching the game. I'm just talking about conversations, like a adda. It's like a place where 5, 6 random people who are fans of RCB can come and talk and
Yeah.
chat. Would be because it will get a lot of engagement on the app. The people will just
Right.
be on the app.
So that
Things
is
like
what during the matches we have already created on the platform itself. If you see the app, where
you have a
actually
video,
people could, sorry,
this video chat.
real chat.
No, I'm not talking text chat. I'm talking about video chat.
Okay, video chat.
Where
Okay.
they get to meet fans around them, like-minded fans, right? You build community.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? So it gives the whole different impact. Just
Okay.
imagine if we were WhatsApping each other or we are on video like this, right? It's very different. And
Yes.
especially when you're meeting new fans around you, that these things would open up really big, areas, I think. Think about it. Because I know it's a difficult business. You depend totally on, the grounds opening and all that. But these are avenues, I think you don't need to worry about the grounds opening. People can still, talk about
Yes,
stuff
of
that's
course.
happening.
Yes, of course. We need to find unless and until there are fans in the stadium, we'll have to keep on revision, like change the features and bring everything new.
Fans don't live in the stadiums. Fans live,
Correct.
fans live wherever they are, right? Like for example, like I don't go and watch cricket, in the stadium at all. But I'm a fan, right? I'm a big
Right.
fan of RCB, fan of India.
Right.
So
So
that's, I mean, people talk about cricket or golf and stuff like that today. And for me as an ex-sportsman or as a sportsman, I'm telling you, there is no real platform where I can go and spend half an hour a day on just sports conversations. It could be golf, cricket, badminton. I might have 4 or 5 interests, right? I'm just suggesting, just throwing out some ideas because I'm also a founder. So just some thoughts where how I would probably do things, right? So think about it. But it's very, very interesting and good to connect with you, Nikhil.
yeah,
I think
great.
I'll leave it to you and Vijetha to continue the great conversation. Right.
Yeah, thank you so much. Apologies, I don't know. I'm in full darkness, Jagat. But thanks for joining in and take care. We'll chat later. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Take care, Jagat.
Bye, Nikhil.
Cheers. Bye. So sorry, man. It's I'm in darkness. Okay. Hey, but it's 7 o'clock now, Nikhil. It's been a very interesting 1 hour of conversation. Would
Yeah.
love that you stay in touch with us, and like we are trying to connect with as many founders to exchange stories, inputs, and and of course a shout out to Rohit from Incubate IND for connecting us to you, Nikhil. Thank you
Right.
for taking the time out with us. And anything that you would like to share? I mean, your ask. You want to say something to potential investors, to everything, anything message that you want to send out from your side?
Hmm. Uh, so one of my message to startup founders would be have patience. So when we actually lockdown and pandemic happened, so the first message that came to founders was, if you sustain in this period, you can sustain anytime. because it's one of the darkest phase where I know a lot of startups actually died up. Even my friends moved into corporate who started up, and like sales went down. Like they have a service company who are facing challenges that they might get closed into 3 months, 6 months. So the thing is, have patience, right? That is to founders. If you sustain in if you are able to sustain in this crucial time, you can sustain any time. And regarding the investors and all, of course, if you are doing good, investors will come to you yourself. You just need to have that confidence and stick to what you actually need from investors. Otherwise, if you think that whatever I am getting from investors, that will not gonna help neither you or your company, and in the end you will lose the peace. So stick to your goals. That would be the major thing. And yes, sales is the biggest thing. And unless and until you know that you're gonna sustain for 5, 6, 7 months, I think this is the biggest thing. You should have at least 5, 6, 7 months of capital. Like we ran out of capital, so now we had to like do a lot of changes. But now we know that now we are again getting capital. We'll start encouraging growing more and more with the in few months.
Interesting, Nikhil. So, I must say that I was very mesmerized and taken in by your passion. Number one, you really care about sports. You really care about cricket and everything. Number one. Number two is, I think you have really focused and done a lot of good work on community building.
Yeah,
How you're rewarding the fans, how you're rewarding influencers, the t-shirts and merchandise and everything. So these are some lessons that in India the rest of the founders can take it. So really appreciate all your thoughts and all your insights, and you have taken in a lot of pressure on yourself. Second startup, young father, your wife and the family and everyone, right? So all the very best. I will stay in
thank you
touch
so
with you.
much.
Okay, I want to keep updating myself about your progress as well, Nikhil, and all the very best, man. That's my parting words for you, my friend. God bless. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Vijetha. Thanks everyone.
Thank you for this entertaining 1 hour with you. All right, and everyone, this is the League of Extraordinary Startups. We talk about innovation. It is all the spotlight will be on the founders, will be on the startups, so that they can talk about their growth, the challenges they face, how they're looking for funding, or how they're just growing this wonderful innovation ecosystem in India. So, Nikhil, take care. All the very best. Happy 2021 for you.
Thank you. Same to you.
Thank you very much. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Yeah.